Hello everybody, my name is Sergio Cañete and today I'm going to talk about what I have learned this year in the subject Intercultural Relations in the Professional Environment in English. And not only that, I will talk specifically about which of the contexts I have studied can help me in my future. We will organize the contents in such a way that we will first discuss some aspects related to Unit 1, then continue with Unit 2, and so on. So that finally we will talk a little about each unit studied. First, we start with Unit 1, which deals with everything related to culture. From this topic, I would like to comment mainly on prejudices, stereotypes, and consequently, discrimination. I think that understanding all these issues won't only help me in my professional future, also in life in general. For example, when I travel to a country. For this, we have done many activities in class to understand what prejudices and stereotypes are. For example, here in Spain, other countries think that we are lazy, that we are bullfighters, and that we all know how to dance flamenco, among other things. Things that we know are not true. Therefore, we can say that stereotypes are generalizations applied to groups of people. For example, the idea that Americans only eat hamburgers and have guns. On the other hand, we say that prejudices are preconceived ideas that we have towards certain people just because they belong to a group. For example, treating someone differently just because they are gay, without knowing them. And related to this are discriminations, which can be of many types, such as racial, age, gender, etc. And these are personal ideas that make other people feel rejected. I mean, these are prejudices with negative connotations. So, if we refer to Unit 2, which deals with effective listening, to begin with, I would highlight that people spend around 70% of our time communicating, and that within this percentage, most of the time we spend listening. Therefore, it's very important to know that principles of listening, which can be divided into a series of tips such as be patient, empathizing, paying attention to the tone in which the center speaks to you, etc. This will help us to be able to carry out any work effectively and even solve a problem arising from it. All of this by applying active listening, which will allow us to better understand the situations that arise in our daily and professional lives. Whether it's to help a friend or family member, or to apply it in a job to help a client who has a problem or needs something, for example. Then, from Unit 3, which is called Getting Your Message Across Successfully, I would point out that normally we don't pay enough attention to nonverbal communication, which is often even more important than verbal communication. This is because we show a lot of information with our body. So there are situations in which we are saying something verbally, but our body movements or posture, among others, can say the complete opposite. It should also be noted that everything influences in communication, and that in order to make a good speech, we must take into account some factors such as eye contact, the disposition of the body, and the movements as we said before, and the tone of voice, among other things. Elements that will help us to speak in public and capture the attention of the listeners. Then, in Unit 4, we find a strong relation with Unit 3, and it's commenting that it's essential for humans being to develop relationships with others, not only with people around you, but even with people from other cultures. This can bring benefits for you, such as breaking stereotypes, acquiring skills, or learning about other cultures, and in short, increasing your cultural level. A large part of the unit deals with communication with other people, And I would highlight, apart from the previous ones, how to ask questions and the types of questions that exist, because, as I mentioned before, it can bring us a great help in the future. If we imagine that we work in a shop and a customer is angry about buying a broken product or asking us for something, with the right questions and knowing how to ask them, we will be able to help them successfully, satisfying their needs. And finally, in the last unit, the unit 5, we see how to make a curriculum vitae in a right way, where we are given some tips or advices on how to do it correctly and in an effective and attractive way. And not only this, but it also teaches us how to do a job interview properly, how to prepare for it to make the best possible impression. And a very important part for our future, as at some point in our future, we will to carry out one of these selection methods, or even both. And all of these topics are the most important that I consider for my future, daily and professional. I hope you really like this video. Goodbye.